Hello everybody, this is a shrubby honeysuckle which I've just pruned up. They make quite good bonsai in that they're, small leaves, etc. But also there's a danger that they just tend to look a bit artificial and topiary, so it's quite difficult to get them to look totally convincing. But yeah, I pruned this one up. I'm quite pleased with it. So it's got an interesting outline. This secondary trunk died off, so I'm just treating that as just keeping it there for visual interest and balance, really. So I have no branches on this side of the tree, and yeah, I kind of like it. So that's this tree. Okay, so here's another one. I'm going to clean this one up. I'm not going to repot this particular tree. It doesn't need it this year. I think it's only been in this pot a year. So I'm going to use these old shears though to cut these suckers away, which I don't want. Get down into the soil and get rid of them in their entirety. I'm not sure how well you can see. This second trunk is also dead. I have carved it. It is hollow. So all of this yeah, at the front here is dead, but it does have a live vein at the back which is feeding this one particular branch. So and this other trunk also has a piece of dead wood here. So so what I'm going to do with this tree now is just to try and bring it back, and this bit is the bit that looks a little bit like you're performing some topiary, but this sort of just brings it back into line. So that you can see what you're actually doing, and brings the structure back into the tree, gives you those foliage pads that everyone talks about. And the structure where they talk about birds being able to fly between the branches, so the usual stuff. Remove anything that's going downwards and out of line. What you can do, and this is where it stops becoming topiary, if you're not careful, these will grow so intensely that they'll just shade out all the insides, and so you want to get into the structure and prune out some of the longer pieces. Pieces here, for example, it's been in there for a amount of time, and what I'm trying to do is just give it a bit of rejuvenation, letting some light and air into the middle of the branch structure. So otherwise it'll just die off on you, and you'll find you've got a dead centre, as it were. So this does look a little bit drastic, but it is necessary that you get in there and prune back some of these long shoots individually. Some of the eagle-eyed amongst you may notice that these trees are all in the playlist marked Privet bonsai, and that is since I was about 14-15 years old. I've thought this species of plant was a privet. I used to do some gardening when I was still at school for an old lady who lived just down the road from me. It was for fag money, realistically, but that's neither here nor there. I'm trying to shorten the story. Basically, she used to get me to cut her privet hedge, and I duly cut her privet hedge, not knowing that, neither of us knew that what I was doing was cutting her Lonicera or honeysuckle hedge. So yeah, so I've always thought, oh, this is a privet, or I did, until someone corrected me on here, and then I checked into it and found that, yeah, they were right. This is indeed a shrubby honeysuckle, Lonicera. Yeah, so again, I'm just going in and I'm taking it back some, and I will do this some more, but it's not just a question of shearing it over. You need to get in and take out some of these longer twigs, let some light and air into it. See, that's a long twig that's growing up and over the rest of the branch, so that can come off, and that lets some light and air into these other pieces that were underneath it. Now, as I say, I might come back in and do some finer twig removal off camera, but for the most part, that's pretty much it for this tree. Tidy up the pot. We'll give you a quick 360. I'm quite pleased with this tree. I think it's got some character now. It's funny when I look back on the video. It's been a while since I made one on this tree. How skinny it was. So yeah, it's no longer in the washing up bowl. It's in a big pot of its own. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. It's beginning to get a bit of a crown on it. I'm not sure whether I want to keep this branch or maybe lose this one, but at the moment I'm going to keep both. So yeah, just a quick visit with this tree. Not much to see here. Okay, and here's another tree that I haven't done anything with for a little while. What a weed. I thought for a second I thought I had a little white flower. Don't know if the camera can see that, but it's actually a weed growing in the pot. Don't really want that. Okay, so similar deal with this one really. This is growing as a cascade tree. Top had died off, so yeah, it's kind of lent itself to becoming a kind of cascade tree, and that's the look that I've been working on the last few years. And okay, so that's really all I'm going to do with this tree. It is getting there slowly. But we're getting there. Yeah. Okay, so let's move the camera back a little. I'm going to repot this tree. This is another Shrubby honeysuckle, obviously. It's been in this washing up bowl for several years, and as you can see, the bowl's had it. It's perished and it's no good. But I've been kind of part training this as a 3-trunk tree for the last couple of years whilst it's been in this pot. I have a couple of little passengers going in with it. That's a prunus of some kind. I'm not sure what that is. Several unnamed conifers. So yeah, so let's clear the decks here a little, and then we'll try and I say get it out of this pot, but it's just going to fall. The pot's just going to fall apart from around it. Okay, so it came out of this pot easy enough. And I can see straight away we've got a reasonably interesting root base. Yeah, these trees are, like I said, they will take us on almost any abuse. They are, I mean, it's very dry. It's been put in a corner and forgotten about. Dragged out every now and again. Given some sort of pruning to begin to try and form some kind of branch pads. And then slung back in the corner and ignored largely. Fed when I've remembered to feed it. Watered when I've remembered to water it. Bottom up. You can perhaps do something with them one day. And this one, I've obviously pruned it a couple of times whilst it's been in here when I've looked at this tree. I can maybe do something with that. As I say, it's some sort of prunus, but I'm not sure. Possibly Prunus spinosa. I might need to just take a little bit off the bottom of the root bowl. And there's nothing big and low. There's one big lumpy piece there. But yeah, so that will fit down quite snugly into the pot now. I think it needs to go that way slightly. I think that would be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to get this into the pot, clear this away, and then we'll come back. Okay, so it's in the pot and all watered in. I may just actually just put a bit more just there, just to cover up those roots a little, but like so. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so this is covering this trunk line, so we're going to start by losing that entirely. In fact, probably just come in, take that away, thoroughly. Just nibble away at it. Doesn't want to come off in one go for some reason. That's it, got it. So I would do the same with this piece that is hiding this trunk. Okay, so now, as I say, I have been doing odd bits to this tree over the years, and started to create some branch pads and let it grow, and then come back and do again. And you let it grow and it throws out some good strong shoots, and then you can trim it back. So just keep going with that, as you can see, I hope. Just exposing the trunk as I'm working my way up. Anything that's hiding the trunk line. This particular branch needs a bit of work yet. I'm trying to get the tree to grow a branch in that direction. Which is not very happy about doing, but gradually it will. The one issue that I do have with these trees is once you get past a certain thickness, they won't take wiring. They will snap at the slightest hint if you're trying to force them into a direction they don't want to go. Very, very brittle. Okay, so I'm going to work my way round, trim up all these little branchlets, because this is becoming quite a long video now, and then we'll come back when I'm done. Okay, so there we go. It's got a long way to go yet to be as refined as some of the other trees that I showed you, but it's taken me about half hour's work, and I have wired a couple of the branches. I think I will wire that one while it's still soft enough to allow it. Obviously I want to build out these pads from this, create the apex, but I think, as I say, it has the makings of a reasonable tree. Not entirely happy with this top here. Not as much taper as I would like. It may be that I'm going to have to prune to an upward shoot at some point in the future. I don't think that branch would take. Well, it might. Do you know what? I'm going to lose this, and I'm going to prune that upwards. It's not going to bend very easily. That's about as much as I'm going to get before we hit snappage. There's my wire cutter there from here a moment ago. You hit it when you put something down and it's not there, and you haven't moved from your chair. There they are, looking at you. You haven't moved from your chair, but you can't see them. Okay, it's breaking, but I think I can keep it enough intact that it will heal and grow. Yeah. I will trim that down again once it's set in place. I've moved this branch slightly forwards, and I've moved this branch slightly back. This one I'm going to wire down. If I can, I'd like to wire it to the back. No, I can't. But I might have just lost that branch. I'm just going to leave it. You never know. I'm going to put a piece of wire to support it. but it still has connected tissue, and as I say, these trees are tough as old boots. They just don't like to bend. So I'm going to put some wire there. And that'll hopefully stop it waggling about in the wind, whilst that branch can then be grow out the back, give me a bit more depth. Okay, that's it for this video. So it's been a bit of a long one, apologies. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you all for watching. Take care of yourselves.